Hey co-stars, welcome to this episode of Generation Films. My name is British Ben, and since our previous episode on Stargate did so well, I've been spending my time online laughing at nerdy sci-fi memes, planning my new hot tub, and combing the internet for information on my next video on the Prometheus. No, not the Greek tragedy. No, not the ship from Star Trek Voyager. But yes, the Prometheus from Stargate. I'm sure there's one other Prometheus that I've forgotten. Oh well. In this video, we are going to break down the ship, go through all of its key stats and key moments from its operational history. The Prometheus was the first spacefaring battlecruiser developed by the Tauri, which is what humans are known as in Stargate. The ship's designation was X-303 or BC-303 after it entered service. It was completed in 2002 in an underground hangar at Area 51. The Prometheus was supposedly 195 meters long, which makes it about 1/3 as long as a US Navy Nimitz class aircraft carrier. Now, while that is the official size of the ship according to the Stargate Online magazine, Trek Yards did a video where they break down the size and they discover that the CG model is actually scaled to be 519 meters long. Now, I'm not really sure about the size of the ship. It seemed that the 195 meter length was the size that they wanted it to be for the storyline of the show. When you see inside it, it doesn't really feel that vast. It also only holds 8 X-302 fighters in its launch bays, whereas the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier holds up to 90 aircraft. The Nimitz carrier also has a crew of 3,500, whereas the Prometheus has a crew of 115. So it really doesn't make sense that it would be larger than the carrier. It also doesn't make sense that humans would build something so huge for their first spacefaring battlecruiser. At 195 meters long, it's already 5 times the length of the space shuttle. So it could be that the 3D model was just scaled up because it looked better that way on screen. In sci-fi movies and shows, they often scale ships different sizes even within the same episode or the same movie because it just looks better that way in some shots, alright? And no one really notices as long as it looks cool. So if you go with the official size, it's 2/3 of an aircraft carrier or 5 space shuttles long. And if you go with the CG model size, it's quite a bit longer than an aircraft carrier and 14 space shuttles long. Personally, I think the smaller size fits better with the story of the show. The ship had sublight engines that could propel it at 110,000 miles per second or 59% the speed of light. It could reach Earth orbit in 30 seconds, and it also had a hyperdrive for interstellar travel. The original hyperdrive was reverse-engineered goa'uld technology, but later on the ship was fitted out with an Asgard hyperdrive and Asgard shields. As for armament, the ship had 24 railguns, 12 missile launchers, and Mark 9 warheads. These warheads were designed to destroy anything within a 100-mile radius, including otherwise indestructible Stargates. And unlike ships from other franchises that were constructed in space and could not enter a planet's atmosphere, the Prometheus could land on a planet, although it was a bumpy affair with the ship leaking dry ice onto the bridge, but they do touch down. Okay, now let's get into several key moments from the ship's operational history. So in 2002, the ship was actually stolen by rogue NID agents who wanted to use the ship to find a weapons stash on some planet they'd heard about. And they were calling for the release of Q from Star Trek. Well, actually Frank Simmons, who was an NID colonel infested with a goa'uld, played by John Delancey from Star Trek. SG-1 did manage to retake the ship, but then they realized that they were lost in space. Like they couldn't find their way back to Earth. But then Thor shows up at exactly the right time and gives them a mission to defeat the replicators, and then in return gifts them Asgard shields for the Prometheus. The Prometheus also played a key role in the Battle of Antarctica. You see, goa'uld like to either imitate or create godlike figures in history. Sokar imitated the devil, and Anubis kind of like the Emperor from Star Wars.
Your feeble skills are no match for the power of the dark side.
The power of the ancients is mine.
I'd hate to be the poor Jafar who had to tell Anubis that the Emperor wasn't a real god from human history and he was just some dude from a sci-fi movie back in the 70s. Anyway, when Anubis attacked the Earth, SG-1 traveled to Antarctica to obtain an ancient weapon buried under the ice. The Prometheus was launched along with a fleet of X-302 fighters to deal with Anubis' forces. while SG-1 acquired the weapon. Prometheus then flew up to orbit to attack Anubis' mothership, but SG-1 were successful in obtaining the ancient weapon, and the Prometheus was able to stand down and watch the destruction. Another notable operation for the Prometheus was the Battle of Kalana, a planet where the Ori were trying to set up a supergate, one of these to send ships through to the Milky Way galaxy. Prometheus brings the Mark IX warhead to the planet and detonates it at the Stargate, but this actually speeds up the process of the planet imploding into a singularity which powers the supergate. But SG-1 managed to disrupt one link in the supergate structure and destroy it. The final act of the Prometheus is a mission to rescue Daniel Jackson from the planet Tegelos. This planet has a very powerful orbital defense satellite. When the Prometheus arrives, they detect the satellite is powering up and dispatch 302 fighters to destroy it. But this proves ineffective and the satellite ends up firing on the ship. This one shot basically disables the entire ship and the captain broadcasts their surrender. But the satellite fires again and the Prometheus is completely destroyed. After the destruction of the Prometheus, no more BC-303 ships were built. In fact, the Prometheus was the only one, and this then made way for the BC-304, or Daedalus class. A second-generation Tauri capital ship that improved on the Prometheus with more advanced systems, larger size, larger carrier capability. A ship that we see mostly in the Stargate Atlantis series, where Asgard technology was installed as standard. Unlike the Prometheus, which only ever had one model, more than one ship in this class was built, and they fought many battles against multiple enemies. Which we'll cover in another video. Guys, if you want to see that video on the Daedalus class, do leave a comment below and also hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. In fact, I'll do you a deal. If this video reaches 1,000 likes, I'll definitely do my next video about the Daedalus class, okay? 1,000 likes, guys. Help us get there, and please subscribe if you're new so you don't miss that next Stargate video coming out soon. All right, guys, see you later.